Hey y'all, it's your girl Tynesha Renee here, and we back again with another video. For those of you who are visiting for the first time, basically I just speak my mind. We have a lot of discussions. I love talking about controversial topics. And so in honor of controversial topics, we got to talk about Will and Jada Smith. We got to, man, Twitter going crazy, Facebook going crazy, Instagram going crazy. Everybody is going in on Jada about this whole blow up with Alsina. Child, whew, it's a lot to dissect. It's a lot to dissect, but we're gonna break it down piece by piece. Will and Jada Smith, they're very popular actors. They've been married for about 23 years, known to be a Black power couple. Now, Will and Jada have been known to have an open relationship. This is kind of like common knowledge. Everyone was aware that they had their little pieces that they mess with on the side, but it's becoming an issue now because Alsina decided to do an interview with Angela Yee where he talked about a lot of things. So it wasn't just him, going in on Jada, but he definitely shed light on the fact that the two of them did have a romantic relationship, how he was deeply in love with her, and internet went wild. And it got to a point where Will and Jada decided that they needed to sit down and speak their piece on Jada's platform, the Red Table Talk. On the Red Table Talk, Jada definitely confirmed that she did have a romantic relationship with Alsina, this entanglement mess that everybody is tripping over. And then the internet went wild even more. Make sure my edge is in place, because this is going to be a deep one. First, I want to talk about my thoughts on Alsina. Now, I'm not going to lie, when this whole thing first came out, I'm like, this dude really did this, stirred up this mess because he's trying to get promo, get publicity for his album that's coming out. He hadn't had music come out in a while. I can't 100% say that I don't feel like this interview was a piece of that, because obviously it is there to promote his album. But I feel like a lot of people didn't take the time to listen to the entire interview. The interview was about an hour long, and probably about 5 minutes or so talked about Jada. He talked about a lot of deep stuff, and I'm sad that people are only focusing on this one part, but this man has dealt with drug addiction, health issues, his sister dying, his brother dying, being molested when he was younger. These are all things that he was very transparent about, and it was a really raw and honest interview. I didn't really like that people were saying it was feminine for him to come out and say that, because that was him expressing his emotions. He was talking about his experiences, and by saying that, you're kind of sending the message that men aren't allowed to express the way that they feel. Now, the reason why he did come out and say something is because he mentioned he had been losing a lot of business. He was losing a lot of relationships because people had this idea that he was a homewrecker. He wanted to essentially clear his name. He made it very clear that he has nothing bad to say about Will and Jada. He loves the family. So he really didn't say anything bad. But I think the fact that he said something at all is what rubbed people the wrong way. So my thoughts on the whole Red Table Talk interview. I definitely don't think that it was rehearsed. Will Smith was clearly peeved. You can see that. Like, he felt some kind of way. And I think that Jada was trying to save face on her end, so she didn't really want them to kind of bicker back and forth. Will was not with that at all. What I think a lot of people are misconstruing, the fact that Will is upset that Jada messed with Alsina. I don't think he's upset about that. I think y'all should do a little bit more digging on the history of their relationship. Will Smith has definitely had some people that he was speculated to be with in the past. If you have not researched it, look up Heidi De La Rosa. This is a woman who he was going on trips with, was in pictures with, with her family and stuff. He's definitely had pieces on the side too. The problem is that all of this is coming to surface. If you think about Will Smith, known as being a household name, very unproblematic. So all of this stuff coming about, he's like, yo, you messing with my reputation. So I'm gonna show y'all a little clip of it so y'all can see, just in case you have not seen it. It's 11 minutes long, but child, it's platinum 11 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and look at it now.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. We
were over.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, I think from there, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
an entanglement, a relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship.
I'm gonna get you back first, and then...
You gonna get me back. I think you got me back. And I don't think it's about getting anybody back.
No, for me it is.
Okay. I'll give you that petty.
You see what I mean? Definitely doesn't seem rehearsed, because Will, he was trying to be cool, but he was like really passive aggressive. Regardless of how y'all feel about Jada, I don't like the fact that people are coming at her talking about she's a cheater and all this other stuff. Just a couple weeks ago, we were under the impression that Will and Jada were in an open marriage. How is she a cheater? Will also made it very clear that the two of them were not together at that time. He was pretty much done with her for whatever reason. And Will Smith is saying this. Y'all need to take the message, receive it, let it sit. This man is saying to you that he and his wife had an understanding that they were going to seek happiness from other people. And I didn't really want to take it here, but I have to take it here. If the roles were reversed, I don't think y'all would be tripping on Will. Y'all coming for Jada because she's a woman who's cheating. And women cheating is always seen as being worse than when men do it. You know how I know this? Think of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce brought to the public that Jay-Z cheated on her. There was not this backlash against Jay-Z. So if you are upset solely at the fact that Jada had a relationship with August Alsina, you see it as cheating. Why does social media not have this energy with J&B? He wasn't canceled. He wasn't for the streets. It's a double standard. People are really focusing on the part where Will said, I'm gonna get back at you. I gotta get even. And that's how they're like, oh, we know Will's upset. They're not focusing on the fact that Jada was like, oh, you already got me back. You know, so there obviously is something that Jada's not speaking on that Will has done in the past, but it's just not being brought to light because his pieces know how to stay quiet. So he ain't gotta worry about all this. One thing that I'll say I'm a little bit split on is when people were saying that Jada was taking advantage of August. I see both sides. I don't think that Jada intentionally took advantage of August Alsina. I'm not trying to defend anything that she did. I'm taking a very neutral stance on things. I try to be a little bit understanding of where people come from and why they are the way they are. So you have to think about Jada, issues with her father. Her mother had a drug addiction for several years. But I do think that it's something that subconsciously happens where you're attracting people. You both have things that you're struggling with and you create a trauma bond. And I think that's what her and August had. You know, already came with all of this baggage. I hate the word baggage, but we're gonna use it. All of this baggage from her upbringing. And then her marriage was falling apart. A lot of people comment on the fact that Will is the bigger star. People don't take into consideration that a part of that is because Jada kind of poured herself into her family, and so her career hit a plateau. So when you have all of those things going on, and all of a sudden that same marriage that a large part of your identity is coming from is crumbling, you're in a pretty messed up space. And we have August Alsina, who had health issues. He was dealing with drug issues, losing his sister, the issue with the trauma bond. It works until you realize that you guys aren't using each other in the same way. And let's not get it twisted. These two were in a relationship. I've been looking into this, y'all. This man came and told his family that he was with her. She was flying him out. They were going places. They were together. The issue came about when he fell very deeply and she realized that she and Will were going to be able to patch things together. Then their reasonings for being together were different. He obviously wanted to have like a really serious relationship. Jada wasn't in that space. And so the two ways that they were using each other were different and it didn't mesh anymore. Some people will say she used him, but I don't think that we could take away from the fact that even though he had his own traumas, he's a grown man. I have my own traumas. If I go sleep with a married man because of my traumas, I feel like I would still be judged. People might say, oh, you know, she's gone through stuff, but that's not a reason for her to do X, Y, and Z. And so I feel like you can't take responsibility from one person. And lastly, the fact that he could still say he has deep love for her, has nothing bad to say, I think that speaks to a part of their relationship. He's in a better place now, and I'm so happy that he is. I know people like to put their input in, and we kind of have emotions about things that we're not a part of. For us to be more upset than they are in this situation, it just doesn't make any sense. Last thing that I'll talk about are my thoughts on Will and Jada's marriage. I just feel like people don't have an understanding of unconditional love. These two people have realized that a traditional marriage does not work for them. They love each other so much and they respect their family so much. As people, they really care about one another's well-being. that they're still going to be in each other's lives in some kind of way. That's why you hear them say in interviews, you know, even if we hate each other, we're still going to live in this same house because we want to have that family structure. I can't knock that. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like they are just thinking of it from a family perspective. I'm not condoning toxicity. I do not want to send that message. But when you marry someone, you say for better or for worse. The worst, we don't know what that means. Worse is a very, very vague and general term. These people have been married for 23 years. They're almost at 25 years. Think about how much you've changed in the past 5 years. I've changed tremendously in 5 years. So times that by 5 and then add another person into that. It's a lot of work. And I think that if you're not in a marriage, or if you don't have experience with being in a very, very long-term relationship like that, you can't really speak on what that looks like because you have never experienced it. Everyone's relationships will have different standards. At the end of the day, what did Will Smith say?
I love my baby. I'm gonna stand by my baby no matter what.
And that is all that you need to focus on. I know some people gonna be coming for me. I'm ready for you. I stand by what I said. So let me know what you're thinking. Do you agree with me? Do you totally disagree with me? Do you feel like they're gonna stay together? I want to know what y'all thinking in the comments. Also, if you made it this far, you may as well go ahead and like and subscribe if you was feeling what I talked about today. And one last thing that I'm gonna say, stop making fun of Will Smith. If y'all coming from the perspective that he's hurt and she did this and that, all these memes y'all doing and these celebrities like inboxing him or DMing him trying to make a joke out of it, that's not cool. Let's not do that. Yeah, that's it. Until next time, y'all. Bye.